Hello everyone, welcome back to Atreyu Crochet. In today's video I will be showing you how to make your own scarf. The scarf, believe it or not, was one of the first things, it might have actually been the first crochet project that was given to me. It's a great beginning project because you get to really develop using a consistent tension, and if my memory serves me, I believe I made this scarf with the double crochet stitch. So I got to make just the double crochet stitch over and over and over and over again. Yarn over, go through two, yarn over, go through two, right? So I wanted to show you how to do this yourself. We could have used the single crochet stitch, but that would take you forever to complete that scarf. And of course, the treble crochet stitch is taller than the double crochet, but I feel like that would make it a little bit too loose and too open, especially right now while you're developing or trying to develop consistent tension while crocheting. So I think the double crochet stitch is the best stitch for the job. So in this video, you're going to learn how to make your scarf. I'm going to make a miniature one because the video would be long if I crocheted the whole scarf, but I'm going to give you everything that you need to know so that you can do it yourself, including doing rows. Like, we haven't really ever completed multiple rows, right? I've just been showing you each stitch, from starting with the slip knot to the chain stitches and then each stitch, but now we're going to build up on rows. I'm going to show you how to go from row 1 to row 2 to row 3 to row 4, etc. All right, let's get to this. All right, so we're going to start out with the slip knot. And I'm making the slip knot a little bit different than the one I showed you how to make. If you guys are interested in learning that one, just let me know. I'll make a tutorial on it. Alright, and when you get ready to make your scarf, you're going to chain out how many ever chain stitches you need to make it as wide as you want it. Okay? I'm just going to do, as I said, a miniature one because the video will be too long if I crochet the whole thing out. Okay, so let's imagine that this is the width that I want my scarf to be. Okay, obviously you'll want your real scarf to be much wider than this, so you'll continue chaining out until you've reached a satisfactory width. Alright, since we're doing double crochet stitches in this video, once you get your actual width that you want, you're going to chain 3 more. I told you a double crochet can equate to 2 chains, or sometimes 3 chains. When you're making that first row of chains, it's good practice to equate it to 3 chains. So I'm going to go back into the 4th stitch. So I just made the 3 extra. That's going to count as my first double crochet for this row. And I'm going to go back into that 4th stitch. With the double crochet, you yarn over, and we're just going to go in to that 4th from the last chain stitch I made. And you guys know well now how to make double crochets. And I'm just going to continue going into each chain until I get back to the end. Okay? So I will check in with you after I complete this one, this last one. I'll check back in with you at that point. Okay, so I have a couple more double crochets to make on this row. So yarn over, go into the chain stitch, yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Again, yarn over, go into the last chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Okay, so we've just completed this row. And now, as I said, this is the base or the bottom of the miniature scarf. And we're going to build up, okay, that way. So what you do is, since we're doing the double crochet, I told you 2 chain stitches can equate to 1 double crochet. Alright, so I'm going to now chain 2. So just like I've been doing the chain all along, yarn over and pull through. And now I'm going to turn my work this way, like that. So it's like that. So I'm going to look at the back of the stitches, okay? I'm looking at the back of the double crochets that I just made. Now, since this is just a regular, entering into the tops of each stitch, this is what we do. This is the chain 2. That chain 2 counts as a double crochet. And it's lined up with the last double crochet that we made in the previous row. So you see here, that was the double crochet, and then we chained 2. So that's lined up with that. So now our next double crochet is going to go into not this one, but that one. Okay. Now I showed you this in one of the earlier videos, but this is the top of the stitch. Okay. This is the top of that double crochet. So when I go into it, I go into it like this. Okay. So you see I'm at the top. That's what it looks like on top, and this is what it looks like in the front. Okay. That's what it looks like to go into the top of a stitch. And I'm going to do that for every stitch that I enter from here on out. Okay, so yarn over. I'm going to go into, not that double crochet, but the one next to it, into the top of it like that. Can you see that? Okay. It's like a little mini heart. And then I'm going to proceed as normal. Yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. And that is how you make a double crochet on top of a stitch below it. Let's do another one. Yarn over, go into the top of the stitch, right in there like that. Okay. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over. Let's see if I can get a closer view of this. Okay, here's a super close shot. So I've yarned over, this is the next stitch. Okay, so I'm going to go into the top of it. See, that's the double crochet, this is the top, and this is what I'm doing. Just like that. See that? Yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. And this is what it's starting to look like. Okay, I'm going into the top of each double crochet, and I'm going to continue doing this. Yarn over, go into the top, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. You'll be able to work this fast one day. It just takes practice. Trust me, it will happen. And that wasn't even super fast. I can go faster, and you will be able to as well. Alright, so it doesn't look quite symmetrical, right? Well, that's because we have one more stitch at the end. Guess what stitch it is? It's that chain 3 that we use at the very beginning. Remember, that counts as a double crochet, so we have to put a double crochet on top of it in that space right there. So what you do is you're going to yarn over like normal, preparing to go into the top of the stitch. And if I turn this around, you see that's what it looks like. That's the chain 3, as I said. You're just going to enter from the back. So let me get up here, and I would put it in there if you want. And then proceed as normal. Yarn over, pull through to the front, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. And now we have completed that row. Alright, I want to give you a super close shot of what it looks like to go into that chain 2. So I have one more double crochet to make at the end of this row. It's going to go in there, but I want to show you what it looks like up close. So that's the top of that's the topmost chain of the chain 2 right there. Okay, so I'm gonna, if you open that or pull it a little bit, you can see a little hole in there. Okay, and if you turn it back to the front, you see the hole there. I insert the hook there, and that is where I entered to make my double crochet. Okay, so let me do it. Yarn over, once again, that top chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Okay, and it's just in the top of that chain there. I turn my work and I chain 2. Okay, so you should not have any questions about how to make that double crochet into the chain 2 at the end of your row now. So guess what we're going to do now? Yes, we're going to chain 2 and turn our work. 1, 2, and turn. Remember, this chain 2 corresponds to that double crochet, the last double crochet we made of the previous row. So the next double crochet goes into that one there, the second one. So we yarn over, go into the top of the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. So hard to say fast. Alright, gotta pull some yarn out, give me some slack. And once again, I'm at the end. This is that chain. That's the chain 2 from the previous row. So I'm just going to go in that top chain. It looks a little bit different from the back, but it's there. It's that chain. And then proceed as normal. Okay. So now I have 3 rows of double crochet. And you see it's getting longer now. And chain 2 and turn. By the way, you can turn first if you want, and then chain 2. It doesn't matter which you do first. And then start working into those stitches just as you have before. Okay? And you'll continue doing this with each row, making it longer and longer. You can't make it any wider at this point, right? We're only able to make it longer because we're adding the number of rows. Essentially, the column width has been set, but we can make it longer by the number of rows that we add. Once again, we're getting to that chain 2, the previous row, and we just go into the top of the chain there, like that. Okay. So it's getting longer. Yeah, guys, and this is what I continued to do when I made my first scarf. So, of course, it's going to be wider, right? Maybe something like this wide. That's a good width for a scarf, I think. That wide? Yeah. So you want to make at least double the number of chain stitches I did in this video, but you'll just continue adding rows until you get the desired length. Okay. Now I'm going to act like I'm done with this scarf, so let me show you how to finish the project. Alright, so I made a couple of more rows so it kind of starts to look rectangular and not just a square. And I'm going to pretend that this is I'm done, that this is the last row that I am going to crochet onto the scarf. So I've put the last double crochet in that chain 2. Now the way to end this, the way to finish this project off, is to chain 1. And then I'm going to get my scissors and I'm going to cut the yarn. And now I'm going to pull through. By chaining, I'm creating a knot as soon as I pull. There you go. Okay. Now there are many ways to kind of get rid of these eyesores that are tails, right? At the beginning of my crochet journey, I would just tie an extra knot because I'm anal like that, and I always wanted to be sure that it never came undone. So I would tie an extra knot, make sure it's as close to the knot made from the chain 1 that I just did, and then I would just cut it off. Okay, so you can do something like that. But if you watched my video on my video on the things that you will need. In the part where it was talking about extra tools that would be of help, like the stitch marker, I believe it was, I spoke about what they call a tapestry needle or a darning needle or a weaving needle. It goes by many different names. Basically, this is what I'm talking about. So I'm going to show you how I do things now, but if you're a beginner, you know, that's fine. Okay, that's perfectly fine. In fact, I probably would have left a little bit more of a tail, just to, you know, a little one, but it's perfectly fine. So if that is what you feel comfortable with, then that's fine. As I said, you're a beginner. This is a crochet channel for beginners, so I want to make sure that I show you how to do things very easily, and then we'll build ourselves as we get more advanced or start to go into more advanced projects. Okay, so just to show you how I do things now as an experienced crocheter, I use my darning needle and I thread it, or I guess I yarn it, if you will, since I'm using yarn. I yarn it, and then I just go into the stitches. There we go. So I'll go into the stitches like that and pull it through. And since it's all white, it sort of camouflages, right? And then I'll try to go back the other way and try to hit spots that I haven't necessarily hit before. And that sort of creates its own tension. Just think about it. The yarn would have to go through all of those stitches to come undone. But that's not it. Then I like to use a smaller crochet hook. This is a size E, US E. And then I will stick my hook in there like that, just in some random place that's close to the tail, and I will pull it through like that. And now I'm going to act like I'm chaining one, so I yarn over, and this can be a little bit tricky, so you just gotta be patient and really find a prime spot. Let's see if that's a little bit closer. So pull it through. This is also something that people do. They just pull it through like that. But I actually want to tie a knot. I always feel safest when there's a knot tied. So I'll find a spot. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to. I'm just going to, because I've weaved this in here so good, it's not even necessary. Okay? So basically I just used the smaller hook to pull it through stitches, and now as you see, it's completely it's completely gone. You know, I mean it's there, but you can't really see it, right? I mean, I guess you can see that something looks, if you were to really closely examine, you might say, something looks a little different there, but I don't know what it is, and it still looks nice. So that's how you can hide the tails, you know, using your tapestry needle, and then even using a very small crochet hook to kind of weave it through stitches. I was going to show you that you can actually make a knot, but I had done so much weaving successfully that I didn't even have enough of a tail to demonstrate that. So maybe I'll show you that in another video. But yes, people. So this is my homework to you, okay? I want you to make your own scarf. So remember, you're going to chain out how many ever stitches you need to make it as wide as you want. And then you're going to use the double crochet. So after you get the desired width, you'll chain 3 more stitches. And then you'll put your first double crochet in the 4th stitch, the 4th to last chain stitch that you made. That's the best way to put it. And then you're going to put a double crochet in each chain stitch thereafter, chain 2 once you get to the end, and turn your work around. Okay, so we chain 2 there, and then double crochet in the tops of each stitch, chain 2, which is there, turn your work around, see that's the chain 2, and then start working that way, and keep doing that until you get to the end. And then as far as the tails, you can do this method. I mean, this looks a bit amateurish, but you guys are beginners, or you can use the Tapesty Needle method and the really small crochet hook if you happen to have one to pull it through the stitches. Okay, so I hope this tutorial was helpful. Please let me know how you like it. Also, guys, be sure to let me know if you have any questions, if you're encountering any problems. You know, if you post a question in the comment section, I can answer it in video form if you want. So yeah, I've tried to go through this really slowly so that you guys really understand everything that I'm saying, but I understand that problems will arise. That's all a part of the learning process. So don't be scared to ask me questions if you have them, and I will definitely do my best to help you by answering them. Alright guys, that is it. I will see you in the next video.